Hello, my name is Elena Morales, and my project focuses on alternative media resources and the importance of considering electronic accessibility when navigating digital pedagogy. Digital pedagogy is defined as any instructional practice that effectively uses technology to strengthen a student's learning experience. As we move into a society more focused on knowledge and innovation, the usage of digital tools in the education system increases. In order to accommodate the student body's equitable access to this growing use of digital tools, digital accessibility must be constantly updated and implemented. Digital accessibility refers to a digital platform's ability to be used by a wide range of users, including users with disabilities. In order to fully address a variety of needs in the digital pedagogy realm, an educator must incorporate alt media techniques into course curriculum. Alt media resources depend on the type of need being accommodated, but this presentation will specifically address the alt media needs of the blind, low vision community, as well as the deaf, hard of hearing community. Accommodations for students with disabilities are a crucial campus resource that allows the learning experience to be equitable. 1 in 5 UC Berkeley students on campus have a disability, yet less than 10% of students are registered with DSP. So while these resources are available to students and faculty, they aren't advertised in the campus climate. And unfortunately, this disparity has consequences. The graduation rate of UC Berkeley students with disabilities is only 70% compared to the 90% graduation rate of able-bodied peers. Ensuring accommodations are met requires a mutual level of understanding and respect between the educator and the learner. A proactive method of approaching accessibility needs is to ensure that a line of communication that works for both parties is firmly established. Whether it's between the student and the educator, or between the student's DSP specialist and the educator, having this identified line of communication can allow for accommodations to be met in an efficient manner. If you are a student who needs alternative media accommodations and you aren't sure where to start, here are some steps you may consider taking in order to ensure your needs are met. If you aren't currently registered with DSP, sign up. DSP will help you find accommodations to suit your individual needs without having to disclose your disability to your professors or peers. Additionally, DSP specialists also serve as a communication bridge between you and your professor. Once you're a DSP student, you can receive services from the Alt Media Department, which is a great tool for finding out what screen reading, typing, or print conversion programs work best for you, such as Kurzweil 3000, Dragon, and more. Finally, communicate with your DSP specialist if your needs aren't being met, or if your accommodations need adjusting. Voice your needs as you are the agent in your educational journey. If you are a faculty member and you also aren't sure where to start with digital accessibility, here are some tips on how to approach a student's needs. Be proactive. Make sure all digital content is accessible, even if you don't have a DSP student in your class. Not only is it required under UC policy, it's extremely important in case you have a student who uses alt media but is not a DSP student. You never know whether someone is part of the 10% not registered. Secondly, stay on top of communicating with the student and their specialist. It's important to be on top of accessibility even in the face of non-stop deadlines and exams. If a student doesn't have access to a piece of digital content, they may fall behind in the course, which is detrimental to their learning experience. Take advantage of Berkeley's vast resources and seminars. Berkeley offers a wide variety of resources and information on how to ensure that digital content is accessible. We will get more into these resources in the next few slides. If you want to become an expert on all things accessibility, Berkeley offers wonderful hubs of resources that cover all the bases. The main one is by the Accessibility Hub, offered by the Berkeley Resource Center for Online Education, offering everything under the sun from tutorials, courses, UC resources, and media evaluators. This hub has essentially every piece of information related to digital accessibility in the UC system. I will now go through 3 scenarios a faculty member will likely encounter when addressing alt media needs. I will use these scenarios as a reference point to promote resources that will solve the problem. All of these resources are UC approved and can be found in the previously mentioned Accessibility Hub. Scenario 1. There is a student in your classroom that uses a screen reader. Rather than requiring a print textbook, you want your class to feature key chapters of the book, which you've scanned into PDFs and posted onto B-courses. You receive feedback from the student's DSP specialist that your PDF files are not accessible to the student. There are two routes you can take to solve this problem. The first is to go to the Education Technology Services Department. The ETS department offers a service to faculty course leaders that runs inaccessible files through a program called Sense Access, which will process the image-based files to generate text-based versions of the document that is accessible to screen readers. If you want to convert the files yourself, you can use Adobe Acrobat's OCR text recognition program. Information on how to convert files can be found on the National Center on Disability and Access to Education site. Once you've converted your PDF, you can double check to see if it's truly accessible through the PAVE website, which essentially will run a PDF and see if it's screen reader accessible. For general tips on how to create accessible files, you can visit the UC Office of the President website. Technology allows for more opportunities to share affordable solutions to textbooks, and having accessible PDFs not only gives students with disabilities access to course content, but it also increases the flexibility of PDF use for a wide range of needs. Scenario 2. You recently created an online version of a popular course your department offers. There is a student in your online class that requires captions on all video content. You have recorded both short clips and long lectures in your course and aren't sure how to implement captions in your videos. There are three routes you can take to address the problem. The first is to reach out to the UC Berkeley Media Resource Center. The center assists in locating captioned videos in the event of needing an external video, and it also helps with captioning short clips. In order to caption longer lectures, you can run your lectures through 3Play Media. The UC system has a contract with 3Play Media, which does closed captioning, time-synchronized transcription, and audio descriptions of videos. You can put in a purchasing order to get your lectures captioned, or to get audio descriptions of images in your presentation. If you want to post your lectures to YouTube but don't know how to caption them, you're in luck. Berkeley Web Access has a step-by-step tutorial created by the Department of New Student Services on how to accurately caption YouTube videos when uploading them. Online classroom lectures give students flexibility to customize the timing of the learning experience, whether it's pausing, rewinding, or splitting up lectures. Having accurate captions allows the student to access lecture information in order to engage in the class learning process. Scenario 3. You recently found an innovative new website that would be great for your online class discussions. Before incorporating it into your course, you want to make sure it is accessible to students with screen readers. There are a couple boxes you can check to ensure if a website is screen reader accessible. The Website Accessibility Evaluation Tool and the W3C Validator can evaluate every aspect of a website and identify any potential access barriers. Simply plug in the website URL and you're good to go. Another important thing to check is whether or not the website follows UC system-wide policy standards for digital web content accessibility, also known as the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines 2.0. Online discussions allow students to engage in a constructivist theory of learning, where social interactions with other students can lead to a deeper understanding of a course concept. It's vital for all students in an online setting to equitably contribute their ideas and engage in online collaboration. Digital accessibility is not only needed in online classroom settings, but even in something as small as a 1-minute clip played in a traditional classroom setting. Having digital content that is flexible in use and accessible to all media provides platforms for students with disabilities to fully engage in the learning experience, benefit from the innovations of digital learning tools, and collaborate with other students in the online community. Providing a classroom environment that is accessible and inclusive to students with disabilities increases a motivation to learn and fosters an ideal environment for all students to learn equitably. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation.